Here we go again, another year, another deep dive, another batch of empty promises wrapped in flashy buzzwords. And this time, EA kicks things off with the most recycled phrase in gaming history. We're making gameplay better. Yeah, heard that one before, about 100 times actually. But now they've added a twist. They're finally admitting that gameplay has been trash, but somehow it's our fault. We listened to your feedback. Of course you did, after ignoring it for a decade. So buckle up, because we're diving into everything FC26 is changing. And spoiler alert, half of it is straight from FIFA 17's recycle bin. The other half is a coin flip between genius and scam. So let's start with what is, surprisingly, the smartest thing EA has done in over a decade. They've finally acknowledged that not all players want the same football experience. Shocker, right? 2 presets, competitive gameplay for online modes like Ultimate Team and Clubs. This one's all about speed, control, and responsiveness. Basically, it's FIFA on Red Bull, authentic gameplay for offline modes like career mode. This is for the purists, the ones who want to experience football the way it actually plays out on a real pitch, slower, more physical, more tactical. This is huge. For years, EA tried to mash these two very different player bases into one Frankenstein gameplay model. On one side, you had sweaty Ultimate Team kids doing elasticos in their own box. On the other, career mode players begging for realism. It never worked. It was like trying to cook a gourmet meal and a microwave burrito in the same oven. Now finally, EA has realized you can't please everyone with the same mechanics. So we're getting 2 distinct experiences, and honestly, I'm all for it. But let's not get carried away. Execution matters. And we all know EA can fumble even the simplest ideas. So let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Next up, EA hits us with the annual ritual. We've refined gameplay fundamentals. Dribbling, shooting, tackling, goalkeeping, passing, you name it, they've allegedly improved it. But here's the reality. They say this every year. FIFA 19, refined fundamentals. FIFA 21, revamped responsiveness. FIFA 24, overhauled control. And yet somehow, every release feels like a beta test for a game that never arrives. Let's break down what they claim they've fixed. Pace, now players explode with speed, which probably means Kylian Mbappe is going to feel like Sonic on crack, while Harry Maguire might take 6 seconds to turn around. Passing, they say it's more fluid, but unless they've magically fixed their servers and input delay, all the new animations in the world won't matter. If I press pass and the game thinks I'm sending it to the referee, we've got a bigger problem. Shooting, supposedly more rewarding, but we've heard that before. Remember power shots? Looked cool, felt clunky, didn't land. Tackling, apparently we can finally win the ball without it bouncing straight back to the attacker's feet. If they actually fix that, I'll buy a cake and send it to EAHQ, but let's be real, Frostbite's physics are still a mess. Goalkeeping, the greatest lie ever told. Every year, they tell us keepers are smarter. Every year, they palm it right into Haaland's path. Machine learning won't help if the engine's still dumb. So yeah, they've refined the fundamentals, but EA's version of refining usually just means renaming a broken mechanic and pretending it's new. Now let's talk about the competitive preset. This is EA's solution for the online community. Ultimate Team, Clubs, Rivals, Champs, all of it. The idea is simple. Super responsive, faster gameplay, fewer animations, less randomness, more control. Basically, FIFA 13 on steroids. And honestly, that sounds great on paper. Animations are reduced so that your button presses actually mean something. No more watching your player take 18 extra steps before shooting. Auto tackles are turned down, so you actually have to defend manually. Rebound goals? Supposedly nerfed. But here's the thing. Fast gameplay always comes at a price. Fewer animations might mean better input response, but it can also mean less realism. We could end up back in that era where defenders move like ice skaters, and every match is 6-5. If they find the right balance between skill gap and chaos, competitive gameplay might finally offer something close to consistent online football, but that's a big if. Authentic gameplay for the career mode merchants. This one's for the offline boys. EA calls it immersive, realistic football that emulates the real game. AKA slower, heavier, more animation heavy gameplay with actual physics, proper fatigue, and team shape. They're aiming for that PES vibe, the slower, more deliberate build-up where every pass and tackle feels earned. And honestly, this could be brilliant for career mode. No more 90 rated vegan kids sprinting through your backline like prime Adama Traore. But here's where EA needs to be careful. Authentic doesn't mean clunky, it doesn't mean sluggish or unplayable. It needs to feel purposeful, not like your players are running through syrup. The real win here would be smart AI movement, better positioning, and fewer WTF moments. And if they can pull that off, career mode might actually feel like a football simulator for once. They brought back low-driven shots and the scamming begins. So EA brings back low-drivens, the classic double tap finish from FIFA 17. you remember the best mechanic they ever removed for no reason. But of course, they're not just bringing it back. They're marketing it as a new precision shooting system. You double tap now, and it applies to every shot type. So finesse, power, whatever, it can all be low driven. Translation: they removed a fan favorite mechanic, waited 6 years, then brought it back and called it new. Classic EA scam move. Also, time finishing has apparently been kicked to the curb. RIP green timers. Not sure how I feel about that, but one thing's for sure. This new low-driven mechanic is just recycled content repackaged as innovation. They do it every year. This is FIFA's version of dropping DLC and calling it a sequel. High contrast mode and player roles, the genuinely useful bits. Now here's a nice surprise. High contrast mode. You can adjust the colors of teams, balls, referees, even shadows. This is actually great for colorblind players and accessibility. Genuinely useful. Probably the most thoughtful addition in the entire deep dive. They've also added new player roles like inverted fullbacks, which is very 2023 Guardiola core. Tactical depth like this is long overdue, especially for career mode nerds who want to replicate real-world football systems. This is the stuff they should have added years ago, but hey, better late than never. So, after watching this whole deep dive, what are we left with? A lot of noise, a lot of buzzwords, a lot of deja vu. EA is out here pretending like splitting gameplay into 2 presets is some revolutionary moment in gaming history, like they just cracked the Da Vinci Code of football mechanics, when in reality, this should have been done years ago. But sure, clap for them for finally waking up. They're selling old mechanics as new features. Low drivens, that's FIFA 17. Shielding with your back to goal, FIFA 17. Slower, realistic gameplay, PES did it better in 2020. Improved passing and dribbling, bro, I've heard that line since FIFA 15. Let's not pretend this isn't a repackaged version of their own mess. They're not reinventing football, they're just cleaning up the wreckage of the last 5 years and asking us to say thank you. Now don't get me wrong, some of the changes sound promising. The gameplay split might actually give career mode players the realism they've always wanted, while sweaty Ultimate Team merchants can keep their ping-pong madness. The accessibility options are a genuine step forward, and some of the new animations look nice on paper. But here's the catch, it always looks good on paper until you play it and your tackle rebounds to the striker again, until your through ball goes to a linesman, until your keeper dives like a clown on rollerblades, and suddenly you realize you've paid $70 for a glorified patch. This trailer, it's great marketing. It's EA doing what they do best, dangling hope in front of us like a carrot while quietly duct taping the same engine together for another year. So no, I'm not buying the hype, not yet, not until I actually feel the gameplay in my hands. Not until I see if these changes stick past day one, because history has taught us one thing: nobody scams better than EA. So yeah, that's the FC 26 deep dive. A bunch of promises, a sprinkle of nostalgia, and a whole lot of trust us this year. We mean it. Do I believe them? Not really. Do I still want the game to be good? Absolutely. Do I think EA is capable of delivering on all of this without fumbling it? Come on, you already know the answer. Will it be the most responsive gameplay ever? Maybe. Will tackles finally stop bouncing straight back to the striker? Doubt it. Will you still rage when your AI keeper moonwalks into the net? Almost guaranteed. But until then, we wait. Hope cautiously, complain loudly, and prepare to be gaslit for another season of content updates disguised as gameplay fixes.